Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a brand new 2026 Cimarron Stierwalt sitting behind us here. This is a great starter trailer, or maybe only have, one exhibitor and you just don't need a big, long trailer. This is a great setup, very, very popular. So before I start walking you through the trailer, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you how it's laid out. We're 25 foot on the floor on this guy. We're going to have a 5-foot front tack room on it with a 20-foot stall area. It is 8 foot wide and 6'4" tall. So again, really easy to maneuver trailer, really good setup. Let's walk you through it. First and foremost, the Cimarron is an all aluminum constructed trailer. You're going to have an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty, and you're going to have a 1-year warranty on your tires. We'll talk about that as we work through the video. We'll start at the nose. If we start up at the top rail, you're going to notice we have 3 amber lights up there, marker lights. This became standard a few years ago. We were constantly putting them on, larger trailers, living quarters, big show cattle trailers, trainer trailers, but they made it standard on their goosenecks. I think it's a good look to it. This is also going to have the polished stainless sheet on the nose itself. So again, it just kind of classes it up, in my opinion. It's a lot easier to clean, gives it a good look there. I will show you, especially when we get to the side view, this lower capping for that wraparound style nose. So it's a good look to the trailer itself, but you'll get a better view of it when you get to the side of the gooseneck. You're going to have an adjustable B&W coupler rated for 25,000 pounds. This is a really good setup. This is about the 3rd generation that they've built a lower profile handle that gets us a lower hole drilled into it. That really comes into play when these newer tow vehicles have a much taller, bed height. Getting these trailers running level with bed clearance, it gets to be a little bit tricky, but this really allows a lot of flexibility by having a low profile handle and another hole drilled to slide it up into this sleeve if need be. Underneath the gooseneck, you're going to notice we upgraded to a hydraulic jack. This is equalizers, electric over hydraulic setup. This also has the manual override, so I could hand pump this on or off the truck in emergency situations. But believe me, this is well worth it, especially when you have a lot of equipment on this front tack room, or maybe you're traveling with some younger juniors. Hooking and unhooking, it's much simpler to reach right over here and hit that button and drop this trailer up or down. But again, we can get it off in emergency situations if need be. Spare tires located to the left of that. If you're familiar with our inventory, if you get into a standard width trailer, those 6'10" wide, they're a little bit, obviously they're narrower. This is a bigger footprint than a manual crank. So this spare tire is elevated. It's up higher, so it's out of the way because of what we're dealing with here. But when we have these 8 foot wide boxes, we push the trailer out, we have plenty of room to set that spare right there. With the jack, you're gonna get an aluminum battery box. It's going to house our 12-volt battery. A couple things we have going on in here. We have 12-volt battery. We have a battery disconnect right up there. That's what that switch is. Green is on, red is off. It's that simple. But when we park this trailer and walk away from it, we turn that guy off and it will kill all power to this trailer. So if we leave a light on it, we're not going to drain the battery down. That's one of the issues we've always had with hydraulic jacks is, just a power issue. Okay, so the battery disconnect is a piece that comes into play with that. The other thing is just keeping this battery nice and charged up to the optimal level. It's always tough because our truck works as a trickle charger, but it's very slow charging. So if we have a low battery and we don't really drive or put a good charge on it, we're always trying to play catch up. And then if it gets low enough, then we have other issues. We can't actually run the jack. That's where the manual will come into play. But in this instance, this is a piece that Cimarron added to these trailers a little over a year ago. That's our RedArc charger. That is a true 3-staging charger that's on this trailer. This, when you hook up to your truck, there's a couple things that come into play. One, a light will indicate on if we have charge power. So that 12-volt power coming from our truck plug to the trailer itself. Do we have power coming in? A lot of times you'd be surprised how many issues we run into with, trucks coming in here, pick up a new trailer, we immediately plug it in and we're like, hey, you don't have power to your plug. We found one the other day for a customer. Their in-bed plug didn't have it, but their plug at their bumper did. So plugged it in there. They were going to take it back to where they had that in-bed plug put in that truck and go see them and see what was going on there. But when we have it plugged into the truck, now it's going to work as what we like to call as a supercharger to this battery. It's really going to keep this battery nice and charged up to, you know, optimal levels. It's going to pull adequate power that we need based on the battery level itself. But we'll give so much more life and longevity to this battery by keeping it charged up with the RedArc charger. So that's definitely a big selling point on this setup now. And again, they put it on every single one of them that has that hydraulic jack. And I can attest, we would always get those early, you know, typically Sunday morning calls where maybe you've gone to a weekend show, you've parked the trailer, they go to hook it up, dead battery. We would get a lot of those calls, and a lot of it was we just weren't getting those batteries good and charged up. And I'm not going to say we don't get any phone calls like that, but boy, they have almost come to a screeching halt. That RedArc charger has made a massive difference in just putting adequate power and keeping it nice and charged up for customers. That's what we want it to do. So here's that wraparound style nose, okay? So it's got that lower rocker on it. It's a sleeker, cleaner look. There's a couple trailers in the background over here, especially that silver one. You know, if you look at that, that's a VP style. So you can see that this is a much sleeker look to this nose itself on this trailer. It's a nice trailer. The Stierwalts are a good looking trailer, and this really dresses it up. So we stick with the wraparound style nose. Now, I talked about the coupler. One of the issues, again, is these newer trucks. So the gooseneck drop wall standard is 50 inches. But on a lot of these smaller using trailers, we'll take a look at it. It's a case-by-case basis. We've made this one 53. So if you pull in with a newer truck, obviously if there's lifts and things like that, they come into play. But if you pull in with one of the, you know, major manufacturers and you pull in here, more than likely, because of the gooseneck drop wall, because of that B&W coupler, we can set this trailer where it optimally needs to be. Plenty of bed clearance, trailer running level, equal weight distribution on the two axles. So that's what we're striving for. Of course, again, case-by-case basis. We get into a trailer that has 17.5s, an air ride where it picks it up. We don't necessarily need those 3 inches taken out of the gooseneck, you know, drop wall or added to it anyway to give us that clearance. But in this instance, we went ahead and did it. So again, you can, you know, we'll more than likely be able to get you set up on about any truck you pull in. This is charcoal metallic sheeting. You know, it's a kind of a foggy, overcast day. You get it in the sunlight and you'll see the metallic flakes on it. But this is a really popular option. I think it kind of hides dirt really well versus maybe just like a straight black. But it matches a lot of the color schemes in today's, you know, truck world. So really good looking color there. There's obviously a lot of different colors. White standard, and then as you go into these guys, there's going to be a little bit of an upcharge, but these are the more popular, especially the charcoal metallic. So 5-foot front tack room, okay? 5 foot is so we can have the adequate bracing and framing in order to give you this side ramp, because we know that you're wanting to haul up upright boxes, blower carts, fan carts, maybe a portable generator, whatever you want, or showing off the trailer. And just the ease of going on and off, it makes a big difference to have this side ramp. So 5 foot's what we need to go with. But boy, when you go in, you've got a nice front tack room here. Store a lot of items in here. We have rubber on the floor. It's going to protect that. On the partition wall, we're going to have 2 sets of utility hooks. These are aluminum powder coated, so these guys are really stout. These are not your standard bridle hooks that we would always used to use or other manufacturers would use. You know, the bridle hooks are really small, they're closer together. What do we have? We have big hoses and big cords, right? So these guys here will really accommodate those because of the spacing. There's 4 hooks per section, but good depth off the wall and good height. You know, I'd see it time and time again, go to a show and somebody's got a big hose or a big cord on some bridle hooks, and they're using like 3 or 4 bridle hooks and they're wanting to fall off, and it just didn't work. So Cimarron came up with these guys. We'll utilize these even on the horse trailers. We'll take them over for some instances when they're storing items, but it's really popular on these show trailers. Carpet behind it just to protect the wall in case something's moving against there. You're going to notice this row of airliner track. You can go on like Amazon, buy yourself some hooks that go into that. It's all adjustable, so you can bring in like your upright show box, set it against there, strap it down, maybe your blower cart, anything like that. It just gives you the flexibility to go ahead and store some items, maybe even bungee them. Maybe you don't even have to ratchet strap them down, but you at least have it, so it's going to protect it. We have the man door coming in over here on street side. We'll show you that when we get to the outside. But there's a light switch right inside for this big OptiBrite light. This guy puts out a ton of light. It's great coverage. We always put one over the tack door itself. But then, if we look into the nose at the very front, we put one more up there. Because these Cimarron noses are longer. They're 8'2" long. A lot of competitors will run a 7'6", 7'8". So we have more storage depth because of it. But it also gets a little bit dark. So we went ahead and put a light up there. We love putting them up there in the nose. The carpet kind of darkens it, and you want that light coverage. So another one of those OptiBrites there. As you can see, 8 wide and 8'2" deep. There's a ton of storage in this gooseneck deck area. There's carpet on the deck itself and the drop wall. Over on the right hand side, you're going to notice there is a storage tray. I'm going to show you what that's for in a little bit, but keep that storage tray in mind. That's where our plexiglass is going to go for the stock sides on this guy. 4-inch tube that goes across. It's removable, but this will hold items up there so they don't shift back when you're traveling. And then this guy's framed for an air conditioner. So all their front tack rooms are framed for an air conditioner. So if you ever wanted to add it, you'd have to add a power package, but you maybe want a camper style vent or a 12-volt vent because, hey, we have a 12-volt battery. They're the same footprint. So having the framework there is going to save a lot of time, hassle, and money if you're going to add those type of items. There's a bar right here to hang some clothes, whether it's just you're showing off the trailer, you're traveling, don't need it taking up a lot of space in the back of the truck. You can hang, garment bags, those type of items right here from the ceiling itself. It's a really good front tack setup on this guy. Again, the side ramp makes a massive difference when we're loading and unloading, or even just showing off the trailer itself. They do a really good job with their springs. It gets to a point where it actually wants to suck into the trailer itself. Go ahead and latch it. That gives you a good look at that charcoal metallic we were talking about a little bit ago. 16-inch awning light that splits the two ramps. So the ramp going in the front tack and the one going to the stall area. And then if you notice some button lights, we went ahead and put a couple extra on there. You can light them up as much as you want, but this one here we went and added a few more. Not a big power draw. They put off a good amount of light, so it looks really cool at night. Okay, ramp going into the stall area. And as you see, we went ahead and put a gate across that. So maybe you're showing off of it and you just need to kick a calf loose in there. Maybe you get to a show you're waiting in line, you just need a little bit more airflow. You can drop that ramp, have that, calves can be loose. You don't have to worry about them getting out, anything like that. It's fantastic. It allows you to have a lot of airflow through it, but definitely an upgrade we do on a number of trailers. And this one, we just opted to go ahead and put it on there. So as we come in, again, we have a 20-foot stall area in here. Okay, so we have that 5-foot front tack. We start off with a standard 24-footer. We just add a foot in there. And then as you come in, as you can see, we have one traveling gate. This traveling track that comes off the ceiling that the gate actually rolls on, we took it just a couple feet off the back of this trailer. So you have a ton of flexibility with this gate. We can slide it and lock it anywhere we want on every upright post. And then as you get into larger posts, like where you have wheel well or at the actual side ramp, you're gonna have some notches. So it'll actually lock in on those as well. But you can set this every foot. So a ton of flexibility that you have with this setup. Maybe you need 2 stalls, maybe you only need 1. This gate will actually travel past the side ramp and lock in against the partition wall. There's actually a location ahead of the ramp in this access gate here on the side that can lock in. So then we have the whole compartment completely open. Or again, right now, we have it set to where we have 2 compartments. And the other cool thing is if you decide, hey, I need a second gate, the track's there, you can add a second gate. It can be done as well. Okay, on this one here, we did the sliding gate on it. No threshold, so cattle don't have to step over anything. We see a lot of application on this type of a setup for some families that are maybe running a couple calves. Maybe they got some hogs, some lambs, some goats. Same type of setup. It's really fantastic to be able to move between them, manipulate the stall sizes with the traveling gate. But then again, as you lock that, they're gonna step over. And again, it's so easy to move. You just unpin it from the side. As long as you're in the middle and balanced, you can slide it where you want. It is notched for the wheel wells, because you will, with it being 8 foot wide, you're gonna have some wheel well in the actual trailer itself. So we have to notch for it in order to move in that section. If you don't want the notches in certain parts, there's a piece that's an add-on that's a flip over cover that it flips up, and then it will flip down and it'll make it, 90 off that corner. So if you're not in the wheel well area, it will still 90 if you want. That's a piece that can be added after the fact. Tie rail, high and low, and then you're gonna have some more of those OptiBrite lights, okay? So we've got them 2 on each side of the stall area. That way you have that light coverage throughout. They're kind of staggered, which is nice. So depending on where you put this gate, you're getting that light coverage, okay? 2-way roof fence. There's 6 of them. There's 2 at the front. We kind of split and work our way back. What's nice is you can manipulate airflow. You can either force air down on the calves or whatever other livestock in here, or you can open them up to release. I've seen it to where you can grab air on the front few and then open up the other ones to release, and it'll almost create a vacuum. So really good air movement throughout the trailer, keeping animals nice and cool. Maybe it's winter months you're traveling, you still need some airflow. You open that up to release. As body heat goes up, it's going to get away from the calves. So it's nice to have that. What you're also getting is the standard insulated roof on every single Cimarron. So those that we saw in the background, more that you'll see in the background, every single trailer has this roof. It doesn't matter. So it's a 1/2 inch thick honeycomb design. Okay, it'll take 150 pounds per square foot. So really strong, really durable. I can walk on the roof, it won't dent it. It'll take substantial hail, so if you have to deal with some of that, it's going to protect your investment as far as that's concerned. What's really important, in my opinion, is it's got an R3 thermal value, a gel coating on top, so it keeps, with that insulated roof in this stall area, about 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. So the lower profile trailer is, the roof is pushed down, heat rises. That's what they found. We didn't need to go as tall on these. We could keep them low profile because of how much cooler it keeps these trailers compared to aluminum sheeted trailers. So big difference there. Big advantage by already having a built-in standard insulated roof. It's also a lot quieter ride in here because of this insulated material. It's not aluminum on aluminum, vibrating, creating a lot of noise in here. So it keeps it nice and quiet in here as well. And then on the flip side, we have rubber mats on the floor. Okay, but what's underneath there is the industry's best floor. It's a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low like tongue and groove. But the centers, those beams that run across, are every 4 inches. So in that 12-inch deck, 4-inch centers with a V-truss in the middle, there's not a better floor in the market. Easiest way to explain it is, if you have a calf standing on this floor, they're standing on 1, if not 2, support beams anywhere on this floor itself. And then again, just the versatility of the traveling gate in this type of a setup. As you can see, if you got maybe 1 or 2, or you're just getting started, or maybe you got maybe you need an upgrade on a trailer and you got an exhibitor that's maybe only got a couple years and you don't need to drag a big trailer, this is such a great setup in this one. That's why it's so popular. We usually keep 2 of these either on hand, on order at all times, because of the popularity of the size itself. Tack door, side ramp, all these are key to light. So I can lock everything up with 1 key. Nice to have that flexibility, actually secured if we need to, but just have 1 key. Okay, stock sides, 3 air gaps, 2 upper large and then 1 lower that's a little bit smaller. So you saw the tray up there where this plexiglass is going to store. What you want to do is you want to remove the plexiglass, say passenger side upper, take all that out, tape it together with like a masking tape or painter's tape, something that's not going to leave a real sticky residue. Keep a Sharpie on hand, right passenger upper, do the same for the middle. Obviously the lower is a smaller size, so you can just put like passenger, you're going to know where it's going to go. But believe me, we have different lengths as far as plexiglass because we have a side ramp, we have an access gate, so there's different lengths of plexi. If you want to save yourself a lot of time and hassle, take that extra step because it's so much easier putting it back into the trailer itself by having it noted on exactly where it goes. But you've got that flexibility. You have that lower air gap, get that airflow down. You know, chest floor in a calf is their radiator, get that airflow moving down. If you've got some small animals in there, it's good to get that airflow down there as well. So it's nice to have that lower air gap. Tie rails on the outside, high and low. So if you're tying off this trailer, showing off the trailer, maybe you're just unloading, need to tie the calves off while you're getting stalls set up, you can lead them off and tie them up right here on the side of the trailer itself. Axles, we have two 7,000-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. These are 16-inch aluminum wheels. The silver with black ties in great with this color scheme, the smoked plexiglass, the extrusion. And then you have Goodyear tin ply tires on this guy. You have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. So if you get road debris that causes an issue, you have a blowout, you catch a nail that punctures the sidewall that can't be patched, from the date you purchase it, they will stand behind it. No questions asked, they'll replace it. Okay. Electric brakes on this guy. So tow vehicle obviously needs an integrated brake controller or an aftermarket. If you need help with an aftermarket, we can help you there. But good running gear for this setup. As we get to the back, we have a gate with a slider. But since this trailer is 8 foot wide, we made that slider 36 inches. Okay, we understand at times you're going to butt up against an alleyway, another trailer in a parking lot. Maybe you need to bring a fat steer off or a bred heifer. We want that bigger gate, that bigger opening. It keeps the hardware out of that opening. And on an 8 foot wide, kind of like that spare tire, when you push the sidewalls out, it gives you that room. So nice big 36-inch wide opening here. Two 8-inch awning lights on the top rails. We have light coverage there. There's a lot of lights on this trailer. You're going to be very happy with that. Speaking of, if you look at the back tail lights, okay, those guys, not only are there our back tail lights, but those also have a white X in them. And that white X is a built-in backup light. So when we throw our tow vehicle in reverse, that guy's actually going to turn on, and as you can see, give you some light coverage. You will get home late at night, you'll pull into unfamiliar places, you need some light coverage, it's nice to have that. So those will turn on automatically. All the switches are right here. Okay, so for each side, rear, and then interior, they're all on individual switches. So we can turn off certain sections if we want, turn them all on. Bigger rear bumper. Cimarron used to do this. A lot of other manufacturers will do it. They use one standard size rear bumper. Okay, well, it doesn't work on stock trailers. It might work on their horse trailers, but as you can see, we have hardware. It kind of sticks off the back gate. So again, if we're butting up against another trailer, an alleyway, that larger rear bumper is going to help protect everything right there. Passenger side, tie rail high and low. That's fantastic, because if you're actually using this as a trailer for maybe tie outs at a show, you can determine which side's going to be, you know, in the shade, you know, in the early evening when you're taking calves out, something along those lines, or what time does the sun come up, which side of the trailer. So it just gives you that flexibility to have it on both sides. Again, plexiglass, high and low. Again, different lengths. That's why it's important to keep it straight on where it goes. And then access gate, so we can hop into that stall if we need to. We can go ahead, lock that as well. Since it's 8 foot wide, there's no running board, so we have a fold-up step in that access gate going in the stall area. And then on this man door here going in the front tack room, Same thing, fold up step on a gas shock, so it's really easy to just step in and out of this trailer itself. You've got a 16-inch awning light above the tack door over here on passenger side, or excuse me, driver's side. And again, a window to kind of create some airflow in there if need be. Again, you can lock this door. This door has welded hinges with grease zerks, so we can maintain this door really well. Starts getting a little stiff or squeaky, we can actually put grease directly to the hinge itself, and it'll feed throughout the entire hinge. You can see the brass little ring right there. That's connected to a rod that goes the full length. It's got a swirl kind of carved into it like a candy cane, so when you put grease to it and open and close it, it feeds it throughout that entire hinge. A lot of competitors will have a welded hinge, but if it gets stiff or squeaky, you have to heat it up in order to try to get it to take lubricant, and it's really hard. I see a number of times guys will drill holes up top in those, trying to get, you know, some type of lubricant in those actual hinges. But on these Cimarrons, it's a lot simpler to actually maintain yourself. So you can see why this is such a popular, you know, setup in this Stierwalt, with the traveling gate, with a front tack, with multiple side ramps. So I'm going to give you the stock number for reference on this guy. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Stierwalt Pro Series 25-footer, 5N 250638. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we could help you there. Delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring it to your doorstep, and financing is available, so we can help you there as well. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.